on the show, we'll tell you what our planned coverage here on air, on television, and online, deploying personnel to the ground. We're going to bring you every result. This is Ghana Post, that's the hashtag we are using. This is the Election Bureau. The president of the land, Nana Addo is scheduled to speak to Ghanaians at 6 p.m. tonight. We'll be crossing over to the Jubilee House when he's ready to bring you the address. And if you've seen any information and want to know if it's accurate, for the hashtag Citi Verify. We give you verified news only on 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television. Broadcasting from number 5 on the Hansen Lane at Stesado in Accra. We also have business news later on the show, and
Consolidated Bank resumes forex exchange activities after Bank of Ghana suspension.
That's in 50 minutes from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. If you are getting out of the national capital and wondering how you are going to stay tuned in tonight and tomorrow as we bring you this broadcast, let me give you a list of stations that you can tune in. So if you're going to John Mahama's home region of Savannah, Kasha 99.5 FM, Damon is bringing you this broadcast. If you're going to Wallis home region of Volta, Sela Radio in Kabbalah on 97.1 FM, and Holy 98.5 FM in Aplao. If you're going to John Mahama's home region of Ashanti, Focus 94.3 on the campus of KNUST in Kumasi, on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi, we're bringing you this broadcast. In the Western region, that should be Kwame Nkrumah's home region, in the Northeast region, that's the home region of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerigo, broadcast. In the Northern region, you can see Ali Muhammad's home region, in the Upper East region, we are live on Rekas 92.1 FM in Bongo, and in the region, which NDC won massively with only one parliamentary seat for the MPP. In the Upper West region, Bolu, that's the hometown of former president of Milan. You can listen to us on Tumpani Radio 88.5 in the constituency of the Speaker of Parliament, and also in Jirapa on 96.1 FM in Jirapa. So tomorrow, Ghanaians will be going to the polls to vote, choose a president and 276 parliamentary or members of parliament rather. Last night, the final rallies of the two parties were held in Accra. We'll bring you the major highlights of what the two candidates have been saying. But before then, we'll go to the Ashanti region where there's some confusion, and Akosia has that story.
Yes, some National Democratic Congress supporters reportedly part of the party's internal task force disrupted a press conference addressed by the party's national organizer Joseph Yamin earlier today. Well, the press conference was held to highlight concerns over the alleged deployment of individuals posing as military personnel to 32 constituencies in the Ashanti region. The NDC also raised suspicions about the importation of ballot boxes into the region, claiming they could be part of plans to rig the elections. However, the disruption was sparked by supporters dissatisfied with the party's leadership's handling of the issues. Let's bring you excerpts of that confusion. So you heard their excerpts from the moment NDC supporters disrupted a press conference held by the party's national organizer, Joseph Yamin.
Let's go to on the phone lines and speak to Ashanti Regional Bureau Chief of 97.3 Citi FM, Hafiz Tijani. He's joined us on the line. Hafiz, you're welcome to 97.3 Citi FM Eyewitness News. Talk to us about this internal issue within the NDC in the Ashanti region.
Well, so the regional organizer and some party, so the national organizer, and some party regional executives were addressing this press conference. So Joseph Yamin was talking about issues regarding alleged deployment of some individuals who are serving as security or military officers to the Ashanti region. So he says that there has been deployment to 32 constituencies in the Ashanti region. So after he addressed the press, and then he also translated it into the Akan language for the media houses that transmit in that language, some questions were asked. So later on, we heard noise at the background, banging the doors for them to be allowed inside the conference room. So when they came in, they stood for a while, and after Yamin finished talking to the press, then they came in, indicating that everyone should put off their cameras, all the cameras and the journalists should move out, and that what the party's leadership was telling the press was not accurate, and that the party's leadership should not just sit there to hold press conferences, but should rather take proactive measures to stop some of these things that are happening. One, the allegations about the military officers of individuals posing as military officers, and also the importation of some ballot boxes into the region. So Yamin also claimed that these ballot boxes were being transported from Kumasi to the Setre Afram Plains constituency, which is a stronghold constituency of the NDC. So the party supporters who were told are part of the party's internal task force were not happy about how the leadership or the approach leadership was using to address this concern. And they were saying that they should have taken action and not addressing press conferences.
Do we know where Joseph Yamin himself is now?
Well, Joseph Yamin was so overwhelmed. He was speechless when the party supporter, the leader of this task force, was acting. He brought down our microphones from the table that was used by Joseph Yamin to address the presser, and then later he pulled down the table and dismantled the table in anger. And Joseph Yamin was just gobsmacked, just sitting down looking at him, the leadership. He said they're so surprised and looking at him acted in the way he acted. But later, we are told that they called them into a meeting trying to cement the issue.
I see. Thank you so much. But aside this issue, Hafiz, generally, how is the election coming tomorrow? Any major stakeholders said or done anything ahead of tomorrow?
Well, so the Electoral Commission, when you go to the Electoral Commission, they are busily dispatching electoral material in various constituencies, sorting out with party executives from these constituencies, monitoring these events. The police also today did their deployment of their officers to the police. Security working the constituencies. So the regional commander, while deploying the security officers, implored them to be professional, and also they should not accept food or any gift from unknown persons at the polling stations, and that everything is ready. And also, the general public, speaking to them, they say they are also ready to vote tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Hafiz Tijani, there reporting for us from the Ashanti region. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Akosia, what else do we have?
The National Election Security Task Force is admonishing citizens to abide by the rules binding voters to ensure a peaceful election process tomorrow. While speaking at a media briefing, Director of Public Affairs for the Ghana Police Service, Grace Akrofi, reiterated the rules and regulations urging voters to be responsible.
We are a few hours to the elections scheduled for tomorrow. So far, the National Election Security Task Force has engaged various stakeholders as we work to ensure a peaceful elections. As we were deploying our men for their various duty points, we briefed them adequately on their roles and responsibilities. This evening, we wish to remind all Ghanaians, especially those who are going to vote, that is qualified voters, of their responsibilities as far as the electoral process is concerned. And I would like to take this opportunity to remind us of a few of these things so that we are all cautious going into the polls tomorrow. First, we wish to entreat all voters to come freely to their polling stations with voter ID cards and join the queue if at the time they get there are any. Voters should collect their respective presidential and parliamentary ballot papers after biometric verification from the polling assistant. They should check whether the issued ballot paper has no mark and has a validated stamp if required. Every person is to vote once at the appropriate voting booth for their preferred presidential and parliamentary candidate. After voting, the voter should leave the voting or polling station immediately after the vote is cast. All voters should respect other voters' right to vote for a candidate of their choice. Voters may return to the polling station at 5 p.m., that is at close of poll, to observe the counting of the ballots. We wish to urge all voters to avoid jumping the queue, which may lead to some misunderstanding. We wish to entreat every person. Let us abide by these rules and comport ourselves in such a manner that the electoral process will proceed peacefully. And once again, be assured that our security officers will be on hand to ensure everything goes on as planned.
The task force also indicated that it has received logistical support from state organizations, including the Ghana Education Service, various district assemblies, and the Ministry of Local Governments to enhance its operations. ACP Grace Sanda Amadu also expressed gratitude to government agencies for ensuring a smooth electoral process.
As part of efforts to secure adequate vehicles to facilitate the movement of personnel and logistics for the general election scheduled for 7 December 2024, the National Election Security Task Force, including the Electoral Commission of Ghana, in line with general practice for all past elections, reached out to some state agencies for support to meet the vehicle requirements for the operation. A number of these agencies, including the Ministry of Education, the district assemblies, and other local government agencies across the country, have heeded our call and positively responded and have provided us with some pickups and buses to support the election operation exercise. We wish to express our appreciation to all these agencies for coming on board to support this very vital national assignment in line with established practices when it comes to the conduct of elections.
That was Director of Public Affairs for the Ghana Police Service, ACP Grace Ansa Akufi.
This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. The Ministry for the Interior has just issued a statement on tomorrow's election. And it says, Ministry for the Interior announces temporary closure of all land borders ahead of December 7 general elections. It's a statement dated Accra, Ghana, December 6, 2024. And it says, the Ministry of the Interior has ordered the temporary closure of all land borders as part of measures to ensure the integrity of the December 7 general elections. This temporary closure is with immediate effect and ends at 6 p.m. on Sunday, 8th December 2024. The ministry urges all citizens and travelers to and from Ghana to cooperate with state security agencies enforcing this directive. And is signed by Henry Quartey, MP, Minister for the Interior. I'm talking about statements. The Ghana Armed Forces has also issued a statement. It says military deployment in support of elections ongoing. Ghana Armed Forces. The statement says the Ghana Armed Forces wishes to inform the public that the deployment of its personnel to designated locations in support of the Ghana Police Service for the peaceful conduct of the upcoming 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections is ongoing. The public is therefore urged not to be apprehensive if they see the movement of military personnel in their localities. Ghana Armed Forces wishes to reiterate that no military personnel will be stationed at any polling station. Ghana Armed Forces' presence will be limited to standby support, with the primary responsibility for election security remaining with the Ghana Police Service. The military will only be deployed upon request by the Ghana Police Service. This collaborative approach ensures that the elections proceed smoothly and peacefully while maintaining law and order. Ghana Armed Forces wish to again encourage all Ghanaians to exercise their civic rights responsibly, cooperate with security personnel, and refrain from any acts that could disrupt the peace. Ghana Armed Forces reiterates its commitment to safeguarding the stability and sovereignty of the nation while protecting the integrity of the election process. This is signed by Brigadier General Agriquashi, Director General Public Relations. It's Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from our studios in Adabraka in Accra. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu, and I'm here with Akosi Auchi. This is the Election Bureau, and we are going to be bringing you live coverage. We're going to be bringing you live coverage tomorrow of the whole election process from 7 a.m. when the first ballot is cast to 5 p.m. when the ballot boxes are closed for sorting, counting to be done. This is the Election Bureau. This is 97.3 Citi FM Eyewitness News. It's a program. Let me know what your views are. 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. That's a WhatsApp number. Send your messages. Also go on Twitter, now known as X, and send me a message. My handle is at Umaru Sanda. You can mention me. You can also mention at Citi973. But the general hashtag we're using, the Election Bureau, we're using Ghana Votes 2024, Ghana Polls 2024, I beg your pardon, and we're also doing Citi Verified. These are all hashtags that you use to follow our content. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president, will be addressing the nation in a bit. We'll be going live to the Jubilee House for that broadcast. But before then, Fred Tete Jabano is ahead of content production for our current affairs issues here at 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 Television. He's joined me in the studio. Fred, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Sanda.
How is tomorrow looking?
Looking good. I mean, we are prepared for the elections. We are going to give a 360 coverage of the elections to our listeners and our viewers on Channel 1 TV. It's going to be analysis based with fact and data. We're going to go to all 276 constituencies across the country. We're going to bring every detail of this election to our listeners and our viewers. We've put in place a lot of measures to ensure that our listeners and our viewers do not miss anything. We have a team of reporters, seasoned reporters across the country who are going to give us up-to-date reports of whatever transpires in this particular election. In this election, we are starting from 7 a.m. tomorrow till the declaration of the results by the returning officer for the presidential elections, Jean Mensah.
So our broadcast would start what time?
Yes.
And what are the platforms we're using?
So our broadcast starts at 7. We are starting both radio, TV, Channel 1 TV, Citi Newsroom, and all our social media platforms.
So because it's a weekend, we may not have Citi Breakfast Show, but we'll have our morning presenters on the radio in the morning and also on television.
Yeah, so for Citi FM, what we're going to do is that we are going to have a special election coverage. So you would have our host of the breakfast show starting the coverage of the election tomorrow on 97.3 FM at 7 a.m. It would continue with the various hosts and analysts on the show.
Okay.
And would also have at the same time TV, which is Channel 1 TV, also having a panel to discuss whatever is happening on the election.
Fred, I'll come back to you. Let's go to the Jubilee House now and listen to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo giving an address to Ghanaians on the eve of election 2024.
Fellow Ghanaians, I've come into your homes again this evening because tomorrow, Saturday, December the 7th, we shall be going to the polls to elect a new President of the Republic and members of the 9th Parliament to run the affairs of the country, since I have come to the end of my constitutionally sanctioned tenure of office as President, as has also the 8th Parliament. This will be the 9th successive time we shall be discharging this sacred civic duty of voting to choose our leaders since the onset of the Fourth Republic 32 years ago. It gives me great joy that we now have generations of young Ghanaians who take elections and voting to choose our leaders as a regular, commonplace part of life. Indeed, they take it for granted. That surely is a sign of a nation that has attained maturity and self-confidence and should give us reason to be proud. It gives me great personal satisfaction to have been part of those who fought of us to achieve this right. But we should never forget that the flame of freedom needs to be protected and constantly refueled. Elections are at the heart of a democracy, and we qualify to be counted amongst mature democracies after 8 successful elections. It is not surprising that our country is held up as a beacon of democratic stability in Africa. We should be justly proud of this and do everything we can to protect and uphold this status. As is usual with us, the campaign period has been characterized by colorful, loud, and intense activities all over the country. But that period is over, and I believe the arguments have been made and the messages have been delivered. We've also had a last quiet day of reflection before the polls open tomorrow morning. We have good reason to be proud of the Electoral Commission, the body that is charged with running our elections. Today, it is a much more efficient and transparent institution that we are all ready to entrust with the responsibility of delivering a free, fair, and transparent election that will truly reflect the will of the people. I urge all of us to cooperate with the electoral officials to do their work and ensure that we can all be proud of having added another notch to the list of successful elections we have held. The security agencies, led by the police, have also made all the relevant deployments and preparations that will guarantee the peace, law, and order of the nation prior to, during, and after the election. Let us all cooperate with them to ensure that the election is conducted in an atmosphere devoid of intimidation and violence. Let us go and cast our ballots in peace and dignity, and in an environment of tolerance and mutual respect. Please remember that we have a reputation to maintain as a nation of peaceful elections and to cement our ranking as a developed democracy. Each one of us should go out and do his or her duty to ensure a peaceful and prosperous Ghana, and vote freely for your preferred candidate. Do this in peace and dignity. It is an individual and collective responsibility. Go and vote. You owe it to Ghana and to yourself. I thank you for your attention, and may God bless us all and our homeland Ghana, and make her great and strong.
So that's Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the president of Ghana, speaking to Ghanaians on the eve of election 2024. This is 97.3 Citi FM. I'm still in studio with Fred Tete Jabano, my colleague, producer, and head of our current affairs programming ahead of tomorrow. So, Fred, if people want to consume the news on the election tomorrow on television, that will be Channel 1 TV.
Yes.
For DSTV, is 363.
Exactly.
For radio, 97.3 Citi FM. And also online, we are on citinewsroom.com. That's our website for radio, and also channel1news.com for television website news. We also have our YouTube.
Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok.
So we'll see pictures, we'll see videos, everything you want to see
everything
about
you want
voting.
to see about an election will be there.
So just chillax in your room, get some popcorn and Coca-Cola.
If you want to vote, you can follow us whilst you're going to vote in your car or with your radio set. When you come back, you join us on TV. If you want, you are the kind who wants to use social media, you can join us on YouTube and watch our coverage from morning 7 a.m. as I said, all the way to evening. When did I say evening? All the way till when Jean Mensa decides to announce the results for us. So yes, on every platform, citinewsroom.com, Channel 1 Newsroom, and channel1.com, Facebook, Channel 1, Citi TV, Citi FM, YouTube, everywhere you would find us.
I see. Now let's talk about the broadcast. Are we going to have radio pipe into TV, TV on radio? How are we doing it tomorrow?
So we'll be having a broadcast separately on TV. We'll be having a broadcast also on radio. We'll get to a point in time where we would have to merge the two. So at a point in the day, we would merge the two, where TV would now pipe into radio. You'd at a point also have a feel of radio on TV. This is what we're going to do. So as we said, you do not know the time the announcement will be made. So we are on. We'll be on both platforms. TV would have its own, radio would have its own. At the time, you would have a feel of TV on radio. At a point, you have a feel of radio on TV.
Fred, you started your job as a radio journalist on Choice FM those days. Now you are adding television too, which gives you pictures beyond what you are hearing on the radio. I am excited about what we have on the screens and what we have been showing people all this while on the Situation Room. How much of graph and data are we going to be showing to our viewers tomorrow? And are we going to be doing comparative analysis, or what are we going to be doing?
Umaru, data is everything now. I mean, if you want to understand anything, you need data. And for the past 1 year, we've been giving our listeners and our viewers data-driven analysis through the comparison analysis, like you said, through graphs, through maps. And we're going to continue with this on our coverage here at Channel 1 TV and Citi FM, where our viewers would have an understanding of the numbers through the data we have in a graphical nature, through the maps, what the maps tell us. For example, in the last 1 week, you and Bernard had been discussing the Greater Accra region and what the Greater Accra region looks like on the map in terms of voting patterns. Would give our listeners all those things. They would have a feel of it. They'll know, they can tell and see and hear what these maps says, what these data have been showing for the last 12 years of our lives as Ghanaians in the Fourth Republic. So we are going to give a well-detailed data analysis with analysts who really understand this data, who can break down these data for people to really understand and follow. So it's going to be an interesting coverage. I urge everyone to stay tuned here on Citi FM, tune in to Channel 1 TV, and you'll be given the best analysis you can ever have on radio and on TV.
Fred, if I'm listening outside tomorrow and I see something, I want to say something, and I want to say it via Citi FM or Channel 1, what do I have to do?
Yes, so we have our WhatsApp line. Our WhatsApp line is 0549 986 996. You could always send us your videos, your pictures. You see something and you want to report to us, just send them to us. As we said, now we live in a world of technology where news breaks amongst the people. People are not waiting for journalists to bring them the news. What's now journalists you would now do as part of their job is to be able to verify whether whatever is being put out is true or not, so that viewers and listeners could have accurate news.
And that's why we have Citi Verify.
That's why we have the Citi Verify, hashtag Citi Verify, where we are going to verify every story which goes out. So yes, when you have something to share with us, you share with us on WhatsApp 0549 986 996. You share with us, we will do our checks, ensure it's right, and would let the whole world know what's going on.
Let me go to Hansen Ajiman. Fred, please stay with me. Hansen Ajiman is a man who's covering the Electoral Commission. He's joining us on. And Hansen, what's happening at the Electoral Commission headquarters ahead of tomorrow? Hello, Hansen? Hansen, can you hear me?
Yes, Sanda.
Yes, what's happening at the Electoral Commission headquarters ahead of tomorrow?
So the commission is getting ready for its collation and media engagement to be able to respond promptly to any issues that may come up after the 2024 election are concerned. And so the commission, at the forecourt of its corporate office, near the Parliament House, is creating a dome as we speak. And so that makeshift character we have been made to believe would be the National Collation Center. It will also serve as a platform where the Electoral Commission from time to time will be addressing Ghanaians and through the press. And tentatively, the schedule of the commission is that from the national headquarters, since no voting will be done as the commission, and since the commission between the hours of 6 a.m. and perhaps 8 p.m. at the National Collation Center may not be doing any form of collation, they've allotted time periods for which the commission will be addressing the public. And so tomorrow at 9 a.m., the Electoral Commission is expected to give out its first address. At 12 p.m., the second address, and then another address will be given at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and the last address, which has been scheduled for tomorrow, will be at 9 p.m. I'm sure after 9 p.m., the Commission may come up with other timelines, or from time to time, as it may deem fit, will address the press. But aside from the dome that has been created, the Commission is also placing 4 banners along the street that leads to its corporate office. And so the Commission appears prepared for tomorrow, at least for what we've seen from afar. We've had interactions with some key members of the Commission who say that they are trying as much as possible to get all these things out of the way so that they can at least have some proper sleep this evening for the work ahead. We know that the commission already says within 72 hours it would deliver the results to Ghanaians.
So the coalition center would be at the EC headquarters, right?
Yes.
The National Coalition Center. So that's, if you have accreditation as media, you go there.
Yes, so the Electoral Commission this afternoon gave out accreditation to various media houses and media personnel who have applied for it, and so they would allow access to the media, particularly also because as part of their election plan, periodic address of the media has been included in it, and as I indicated, at least for every 3 hours, we should expect an update from the Electoral Commission.
Thank you so much. Hansen Ajiman is our court correspondent, also reporting for us from the Electoral Commission. Fred, what is our plan with the EC?
Yes, we are going to give our listeners a live feed from the EC headquarters for every announcement, whatever time schedule they have given. We are going to pick it live. We are going to get our viewers and our listeners to stay in touch with what the EC has to tell Ghanaians. Outside the EC, the police would also be addressing the nation as and when things happen. We're going to bring live videos, live audio from the police also. We have the various party offices, the NDC, the NPP, the independent candidates, and all the other political parties. Whatever announcement is made, whatever press conference is organized, we would bring them live to our viewers and listeners.
Thank you so much, Fred. Tete Jabano is head of our current affairs production here, 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV, as we go into the elections of 2024. And the Electoral Commission has been the center of interest since the election process started. The NDC has had issue with the EC, and tonight John Dramani Mahama, former president and presidential candidate of the NDC, has taken to Facebook to slam the Electoral Commission. Akosi has been looking at that statement. Please read it for us.
Yeah, so that was posted 2 minutes ago, and it says, with less than 24 hours to go, it has become obvious that the Electoral Commission is determined to aid the ruling New Patriotic Party to rig the elections. But they will fail because the people of Ghana are determined to vote for change and protect their ballots. Since Thursday night, the National Democratic Congress has reported several cases of exposed validating stamps to the Electoral Commission, yet they have refused to issue a clear and an unambiguous directive to stop their staff from disclosing the identities and details of the validating stamps ahead of tomorrow's general elections. Such an exposure allows the party that has printed fake ballot papers to produce similar stamps to use in order to achieve a semblance of validity. An internal memo of the Commission dated 10th October 2024 gives away their well-calculated plot to aid ballot stuffing by exposing the serial numbers of the validating stamp before voting day tomorrow. And it ends with, I call on the National Peace Council, religious and traditional leaders, civil society, the international community, and the election observer missions to call the Electoral Commission to order.
So that's former president and presidential candidate of the NDC, John Mahama. Now, there's another statement that has come through. Is on the media coalition, and the media coalition is made up of the Ghana Journalists Association, GJA, Ghana Independent Broadcasters Association, GIBA, Private Newspapers and Online News Publishers Association of Ghana, PRIMPAG, and New Media Association of Ghana, NIMMAG, wishes to express grave concerns about the decision of the Electoral Commission to restrict media access for coverage at the National Coalition Center. We understand the EC has decided to issue media accreditation to selected media houses and journalists for coverage at the National Coalition Center exclusively. But we know any decision to restrict access to the media will gravely affect the integrity of the elections due to the absence of a fair and transparent methodology of selecting media for this event. We, therefore, call on the EC to rescind its decision immediately in the interest of transparency and media equity for the coverage of the elections. Now, the statement continues to say the media coalition wishes to state emphatically that the EC did not consult the coalition collectively or individually in taking such decision. That is contrary to the good working relations established between the two parties, and that is stark betrayal of good faith and cordiality we have accorded the EC in matters relating to the media. What the media coalition finds even more worrying is the fact that the EC claims it took the decision on the advice of some individuals who do not represent the interests of the generality of the media industry, such as the members of the media coalition do. And we firmly believe that the advice given by those individuals and the action of the EC flowing from that advice are bad and dangerous to the successful conduct of the elections. We do not know the methodology the EC applied to select media houses and journalists for the accreditation the Commission has decided to issue for coverage at the National Coalition Center. Even if such methodology exists, and particularly when it is not made public, we are not certain about its representativeness and transparency. Such uncertainty is deeply troubling because it can spell gloom and doom for the nation. Honestly, we do not believe there is anything broken on the media front for the EC to want to fix with such tottering decision. Inasmuch as we have admonished our members to be professional in the discharge of their duties and tirelessly advised them to refrain from misinformation and disinformation, we fear the decision taken by the EC may dissipate our efforts and gains, as it may stoke the fire of those undesirable phenomena. We remain committed to the promotion of successful elections, but never to the promotion of distressful actions that may divert the course to that end. The media coalition would hold a press conference in due course to address this issue thoroughly. Signed, Albert Jumfor, GJA President. Signed, Cecil Sunkwa Mills, Giba President. Signed, Edwin Arthur, Primpak President. And signed, Eugene Osafo Nkansa, NMAG President. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Up next, we bring you business news, and then on Point Blank, we'll give you a summary of what the two major political parties and their presidential candidates have been saying. With just 12 hours to the elections of 2024.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Ago Omambapa. The time to exercise your civic
details. Consolidated Bank Ghana has resumed its foreign exchange trading operations after the Bank of Ghana restored its forex trading license. While the license had been temporarily suspended due to multiple violations of market regulations. In a statement, CBG management revealed that the bank collaborated closely with the regulator to resolve all compliance issues, resulting in the license being reinstated on December 4, 2024. What this means is that customers can now access CBG's full range of foreign exchange services, including buying and selling the foreign currencies at all branches across the country. Away from that, economists are in person on the incumbent government to address inefficiencies within the food distribution channels as a strategy to tackle rising food inflation. As speaking to Citi Business News, economist Professor Patrick Isumeng stressed the need for the next administration to improve living standards in the country.
Food continues to be a problem, and we've been talking about this for a long time, that the kind of investment that we've made in food production hasn't yielded the necessary results. So whatever strategy we've had, it hasn't worked. And we need to reevaluate the strategy. Most of the time, what we see is that the strategies tend to target the production and forget about the distribution. So that's why sometimes we have abundance of food at farm gates, and yet we see very high inflation because we are not thinking about the distribution channels. So if food is available on the farm gate and yet it's extremely expensive to transport them, it will still translate into higher food inflation. So I think we need to think about investing, and food inflation is very problematic. Don't forget that what we have gone through in the last few years, people's real income has been wiped out. And as that continues to happen, food continues to take a bigger chunk of our budget. And that's why we need more action to fight the food inflation.
You just heard economist Professor Patrick Isumeng. Now, the Food and Beverage Association of Ghana, FABAG, is calling on the government to make strategic decisions to harness the potential of seasonal fruits for processing into fruit juices. Speaking to Citi Business News, General Secretary of FABAG, Samuel Ato Agui, expressed concerns over the significant volume of fruits wasted annually due to insufficient storage and processing facilities. Away from that, the first London to Kumasi special direct charter flight has landed at the Prempeh I International Airport. Well, this was after the flight was rescheduled from its initial December 3 date. The flight, being facilitated by the Ghana Airports Company Limited, is being operated by Ethiopian Airlines. It has 154 seats, including 16 business class and 138 economy class options. Ticket prices were significantly reduced from an initial $1,000 to $600 for one-way trip, and from $1,200 to $1,200 for return flights. The return flight is scheduled to depart Prempeh I International Airport on December 15, 2024. Now, the Bank of Ghana's latest data shows a slight decrease in the average lending rates of banks, which fell to 30.45% in October 2024. Emmanuel Opong from the Citi Business Desk has more.
Data from the central bank shows a gradual but consistent drop in lending rates throughout 2024. The year began with an average rate of 32.94% in January, which dropped to 32.77% in February and further to 32.35% in March. By April, the rate eased to 31.25%, then slightly to 31.10% in June and 30.71% in July. However, the rate ticked up marginally to 30.79% in August before sliding again to the current 30.45% in October. The Ghana reference rate used as a benchmark for loans also dropped to 28.91% in October from the 29.31% in August. Meanwhile, the central bank maintained the policy rate at 27% in November, citing persistent inflationary pressures caused by volatile food prices, past exchange rate effect, rising fuel costs, and utility tariff hikes. Lending rates, however, vary across banks and sectors depending on the borrower's risk profile. While some banks offer loans at the Ghana reference rate, others charge up to 40% for higher risk clients.
That was Citi Business Desk report filed by Emmanuel Opong. Now, Tullow Oil has begun the search for a new chief executive officer as the current CEO, Rahul Dier, plans to step down in 2025 after leading the company since 2020. Well, under his tenure, Tullow achieved a significant turnaround in delivering over $1.1 billion in free cash flow and halving its net debt to $1.4 billion. But following the announcement of his resignation, the share price of Tullow, as one of Ghana's focused player in the oil and gas industry, fell by almost 10% yesterday on the London Stock Exchange. Well, that's how we wrap up this week's edition of the Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Akosia Ortre. To stay with us, up next is Point Blank.
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM. This advert is FDA approved. Hi, Aku. I just got the estimate for the home
This is 97.3 Citi FM. This program is Eyewitness News. This particular segment is Point Blank. You are welcome. Well, it's some 2 of our West election 2024, and tonight on Point Blank, we're bringing you quick summaries of the 2 major statements made by the 2 major political party leaders last night at their final rally. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia of the NPP spoke, and John Mahama of the NDC spoke. I'm going to give you Dr. Bawumia first, and then John Mahama second. Let's listen.
The reason why we are going to win this election is because of the work that we have done, the achievements of this government, and our vision going forward. This election is a clear choice between the future and the past. My opponent represents the past, and I, Dr. Bawumia, represents the future of this country. The choice that we have on Saturday as we go to vote is whether we want to go forward into the future or backwards into the past. We are going and I say a science. Muna take about Muna Zobaya. Gaba Kobaya. Siechana Tony, Betty Alana Yana. Siechana Tony, Betty Alana Yana. We in the NPP, the work that we have done is underpinned by a mindset of possibilities. We believe in possibilities. We believe it is possible to transform this country into an advanced nation. And we have been living by this. Not many people thought it was possible to do national health insurance. That President Umaru did it. Not many people thought we could do free maternal care. That President Umaru did it. Not many people thought we could do school feeding. That President Umaru did it. This is about possibilities and a mindset of possibilities. When my opponent came into office, can you remember one policy, that initiative that we implemented in 8 years? 8 years. What did we implement? Was it Doomsday or was it a confirm? We could not come out with any policy initiative affecting the whole country. One initiative. So the choice is simple. Are we going into the future with a mindset of possibilities, or are we going into the past with a mindset of Nkoko Ekiti? And sometimes it is important to remind ourselves, because we are a problem-solving government. And Nana Akufo-Addo over the last 8 years has demonstrated this superbly. We have been solving problems. When we came into office and many people could not send their children to senior high school, we said free senior high school education for everyone. We have solved that problem. 5.7 million children are going. But what is even more important, when we came into office, there were more boys than girls in senior high school. For every 100 boys, we had 68 girls. Today, there are more girls than boys in the world. And as the president said, their performance has dramatically dramatically increased. The core 6 subjects of WAPSI, the pass rate in 2016 was 24%. Last year it was 64%. And the top 3 students in the whole of West Africa in the WAPSI exam last year, number 1, number 2, number 3, all came from Ghana. I therefore was not surprised, but I was pleasantly surprised when the data ranking the 54 African countries by quality of education. There were 54 countries. 2 weeks ago, the data came out. Ghana is number 2 in the whole of Africa in terms of quality of education. Number 2 in the whole of Africa. Tunisia is number 1. Ghana is number 2 in the whole of Africa. Children, we have not left it at free SHS. We've brought free technical and vocational education. We have invested 6 billion Ghana cedis over the last 7 years in technical and vocational education, the highest of any government since independence. We have restored the teacher training allowances that were cancelled. We have restored the nursing training allowances that were cancelled. In the area of healthcare, we have seen dramatic improvement. Major investment in health infrastructure, hospitals. We are seeing major hospitals that we are working on, even excluding Agenda 111. And the President has started commissioning the Agenda 111, and I will continue to commission them all the way into next year. There is no government in the history of Ghana that has invested more in health infrastructure than the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. No government. None. Today, when we came into office, Ghana had just 37 ambulances, the whole of Ghana, and we said 1 constituency, 1 ambulance. Today we have 307 ambulances in the national. We had major problems with the national health insurance. It was collapsing. It was reverting to cash and carry. We have paid most of their debts, and diseases that were not covered under national health insurance, we have brought them in. Childhood cancer is now covered by national health insurance. Sickle cell disease, the drug hydroxyurea, is now covered by national health insurance. And since December 1st, just a few days ago, Ghana is now providing free kidney dialysis under national treasury. We have brought many initiatives to bear. We have issued the Ghana card. President Kufuor passed the NIA Act in 2008. 8 years of the Mahama administration, they couldn't issue the Ghana card. And when we came into office, the president asked me to champion the issue of the Ghana card. And today we have issued the Ghana card to our citizens. When we came into office, Ghana did not have a working address system. You had to use landmarks by the tree, by the blue house for directions in many places. Today, we have implemented the digital property address system, and you can find anywhere in Ghana, any location in Ghana. Ghana, our own Ghana, is the second country in the whole world to implement a digital property address system. We have solved a major problem. We have brought in mobile money interoperability. Today, Ghana has done done something no other African country has done. We have made our domestic payment system totally interoperable. Your Momo account today is working like a bank account. When I said that with Momo interoperability, everybody will have a bank account, my opponents never understood it. They talked about brick and mortar bank account. I'm talking about digital bank account. So today, with what we have done with mobile money interoperability, in the whole of Africa, it is only Ghana that has complete.
And sisters, my beloved Ghanaians, the time is now. The time to replace fear with hope is now. The time to replace cynicism and disillusionment with courage and determination is now. The time to replace poverty and insecurity with solid development and safety for all is now. The time to restore the economic fortunes of Ghana is now. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to reset our country, Ghana, is now. Saturday's election is not just another election. It is a defining moment for our nation. It is a choice between the Ghana we have today and the Ghana we want together. A Ghana of opportunity, prosperity, and justice for all. Our young people deserve to live in a Ghana where their voices are heard and their dreams can become reality. The working people of Ghana deserve decent, sustainable jobs that enable them to care for their families and live with pride. And I mean well-paying jobs. People in the public sector deserve recognition for their merit. They also deserve stability, predictability, and good working conditions. Our entrepreneurs deserve a free and fair market where their ingenuity and industry can thrive. Women and girls deserve true equality, safety, and the chance to reach their full potential. And every Ghanaian deserves leadership that puts the people first, that fights corruption, and that builds a nation we can all be proud of. My comrades and friends, this is why I'm committed to building a stable, safe, and viable 24-hour economy that creates opportunities for millions of jobs to be created. I am committed to implementing economic measures to fight inflation and make food more affordable for all Ghanaian households. And this is why I'm committed to running the leanest government in our country's history, with no more than 60 ministers and deputy ministers of state. And also a low number of political appointees, and cutting out wasteful government spending and scrapping the payment of ex gratia. And this is why I'm committed to waging a relentless war on corruption. Operation Return All the Loot. This operation will be implemented with dedicated zeal to retrieve the stolen monies and properties for our country's development and for the benefit of our young people. I'll fight corruption to restore integrity and fairness, which are two critical ingredients missing from the governance of Akufo-Addo and Bawumia. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm committed to empowering women and ensuring that they are no longer treated as second-class citizens in their own nation. The stature of my able vice presidential candidate, soon to be the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman, and our plan to set up a women's development bank to support the establishment of more women-owned businesses and our traders from tabletop to large-scale businesses are all practical demonstrations of that commitment we have. My fellow Ghanaians, I cannot do this alone. Your vote is your voice. Your vote is your power. And your vote is the key to unlocking a better future for the people of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, I urge you to take action on Saturday. This is not a decision we can leave for another time. It is not a decision we can leave for another election or another generation. This is our moment, and the time is now to bring about the change we need in order to reset Ghana. We need to reset our democracy, to reset our governance, to reset our economy, to reset our finances, reset our agriculture, reset our infrastructure, environment, reset our health and education sectors, and everything else that we hold dear as Ghanaians. The vision to build the Ghana we want is a collective responsibility. And so let us vote on Saturday to reject despair and to choose hope. Let us vote to reject impunity and choose respect. Let us choose hard-working and trustworthy leadership. My comrades, Ghanaians are going to hold us to a higher standard than they have held the MPP. And I want to remind you once again that there is no use fighting for political power if we would come and commit the same atrocities that they have inflicted on the people of Ghana these last 8 years. My brothers and sisters, Ghanaians are going to put their trust in us on December 7th. But we must prove ourselves worthy of that trust.